Hey, how's everybody doing today? Jim here. Got my bow today. I've already put the string on it. What I'll probably do is leave this on for about a week. It says you can leave it on there for up to 3 weeks if you're not good, but they're not good for long-term storage already strung. Compound bow is a different story. You can leave them strung indefinitely as long as you want to, and I would have no problem with that. We will get into the compound bows as well, and just to do a ballistics test on a 40. This is a 45-pound pole. So what I'll probably do is get one that's a 55-pound. This is a recurve bow, by the way. This is not a medieval bow. But we'll get into the medieval and long English longbow bows. They're Hungarian style horse bows, what they're referred to, and they look like a recurve with the curved limbs. And so I can bring it down into there like that. And what I'll do is I'll get one or two of those, and then English longbows, of course. English longbows have a pull of up to 120 pounds. This is a target which I'll be using for the exercise which I'm about to do. I won't be doing that today. The weather has dropped off immensely. We've lost about 20 degrees in temperature. So, and it was really windy yesterday, and we're going to have inclimatic weather today and tomorrow up into, I think, Monday. It'll start getting back up into the 50s here in southeastern Indiana. So I'm going to take some time and let the weather go by, and then I'm going to get a good day to where I can walk out and do without having all this gear or all this hoodies and stuff on, so that way I can really get into the bows. But I'll be using this tip, polymer from Cold Steel. This is also Cold Steel. This is a bone saw that I showed you before on the other channel or other video. This is a 45-pound pole, as I said. I'll be getting into comparing a 55-pound recurve, 55-pound medieval, and 55-pound English longbow, and then I'll compare it to a 55-pound compound bow, modern compound bow. So we'll get into all that and the medieval attire and other types of arrows and arrowheads. I do have some cutters coming. That will be also on the arrows that are, I'll put those on the arrows that are also inbound from China. So we want to test this stuff and give you a good report. I'm going to get some ballistic dummy torsos from Ballistic Labs, and I'm checking on that now, and put actual clothes on them, because a lot of these gun tubers and other YouTubers that are using ballistic torsos from Ballistic Labs or Ballistic Dummy Labs or these other guys, they're not being as realistic as they could. You put a shirt on them, you put a tire on them. I will put medieval chainmail over one of them and use metal broadheads of medieval style bodkin tips and other such medieval arrowheads, and I will be using that and testing those for your research and development enjoyment, so that way you understand the difference between shooting just a ballistic dummy with no protection as opposed to medieval armor and chainmail and clothing. We'll be getting into that in springtime. Gonna need some decent weather for that, so that way we don't have any abnormalities in inclimatic weather. We're just doing research development testing on the effectiveness of bows at certain ranges. I will not be shooting close, although I probably will shoot close at the end of the test. That way you understand the difference in the ranges. I'll go out to 100 yards. You have videos of people shooting ballistic gel out to 100, 200 yards, or whatever they can do, and hitting it. They can hit the air or the target at 100 yards. Low ballistic gel. Very good archers, excellent bowsmen. But that doesn't tell you what you really want to know. Okay, he can hit that target at that, and the arrow will penetrate so far. But what does that really mean? So we're going to get into the research, developments, and science of the whole thing, and then we will definitely help you understand, is this really the way to go? But silent. Okay. Good hunting practices, good shooting skills, and Other such technical information on bows in general and arrows and arrowheads you will find here. We'll also do a video on medieval resources for this. Get into people like Saxo Grammaticus, Bede, Tacitus. Snorri Sturluson is more of a religious Norse type of history. So they really don't go into the medieval bow, but we'll get into some of the stuff of history of England and Northern Europe mostly. That's where a lot of the sources come from. And remind yourself, when you look at the Roman sources, they talk about the tribal peoples in a condescending format. They don't really prop them up as somebody else would, their own writers. They didn't have their own scholars. They didn't really think about writing things down. It was oral story mostly. And you know, the way that oral stories work, they just don't stand up to the test of time with all the details. So when Snorri Sturluson come along and started writing down all the Norse stuff, then it was more, gravitated towards being held to memory for everyone, not just the ones that were hearing the fireside stories of how everything works in the Northmen's history. So we'll get into all that and talk about history. We'll talk about runes and divinity. We'll talk about other practices of the Europeans, Northern Europeans, to include the English and Scottish and Irish, and how they came to be. Frisian kings, Netherlands, what was the Netherlands called before it was Netherlands? It was called Frisia, that kind of thing. So many people don't know. Holland is just an informal way of calling it the area in which people are from or live. So, we'll get into all that as time goes on. So you guys need to like and subscribe, and we'll get into all the good stuff. As soon as the weather clears up a little bit, we'll get out there and we'll shoot some arrows. So stay safe and stay alive, and we'll see you again.